Good morning. Tamir is here bringing you quality content, mindset, and disciplines to learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them. Please smash that like button and let's get started.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position.
We have a jam-packed video today about the very popular Tesla or Stressla, whichever side of the transaction you're on. Tesla is controversial and one of the most discussed stocks in the market. Now, Tesla is the biggest position in my portfolio. I don't recommend that everybody does the same thing. I have my own convictions and I know the many ways to trade it. But I want to share disciplines because that was the original reason of this channel. You do not want to generally oversize your positions. If you are going to do that, you have to have a real reason why you're getting in, why you're getting out, and have a trade plan. Watch my channel, join the Stocks with Josh Discord for many traders and teachers that can help you hone those disciplines and make a lot of money. Now, why trade such a volatile stock? It moves up, it moves down, richest man in the world. Fortunes have been lost, made over this ticker symbol. And I'll tell you why. Because of the volatility, you have many opportunities to run it up, run it down, and make a lot of money on the stock. Last Thursday, I put in the Discord that I was going back in if it dipped below a certain level, and it went down to the 415 range support level, which I felt was truly strong. The next level below that was below 400. I didn't think it was happening. It didn't have any terrible news on the horizon, and numbers were looking pretty decent. So I got in at the 415 level, and that was a swing trade. I said to myself, I'm going to get out above 445, which was, between 445 and 450. It was a resistance level that it needed to break, which it did break. But my short-term swing trade and my disciplines told me for that part of my position, I needed to get out. And so I left a lot of money off the table, but I took a wonderful profit, riding it up on calls, the 432.50 calls, all the way going up to $448, where I exited my position. And it didn't take much longer than a day to get in and get out of that position. Actually, it's always important to make sure you have a trade plan. Executing your trade plan is key. And if you find yourself having a very hard time doing that, set a stop loss. Just put it in 10% below the price. You're already up. If it gets stopped out, the market will force you to take your money. Always take profits. That's my number one discipline. Now, if I had to pick one stock to trade constantly and make money off of it, it would be Tesla. But I don't recommend that for everybody. This stock, you can lose your shirt on if you get in at the wrong price. If you get in on the high, it could dip very fast and you can lose everything, especially in the options chain. So this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. But I want to teach you all the technologies that Tesla has, all the new developments that are coming, what Elon Musk's compensation package is over the next few years, when he has to hit his targets by, which he generally does. In fact, he might always hit them, and what to expect from the stock going forward. Now, I have mostly a forward attitude towards Tesla. Long term, I think it will hit a trillion market cap, and my favorite position to pick up on Tesla are leaps. I personally like to pick up leaps when the stock is down, and it has that room to move up really fast and make back all the money you spent on the leap contract in 1 or 2 days, sometimes a week. Leaps on Tesla, for me, are the best investment because you don't lose as much time decay, and if you take them way in the money, you're buying Tesla at a price that you like. So I personally have the $300 2027 leaps and the $450 2027 leaps on Tesla. Now, when I started making this video, the 200-day moving average was $346, and the 50-day moving average was somewhere around $404. The stock is now trading at over $460, still not hitting its all-time high of about $488, which was last year. The low of the year, unfortunately, like I said, that takes many swings, was $212 on March 10th. That's a massive drop from where it is right now. So, like I said, you have to learn many ways to trade it. You have to get in at the right times, get out at the right times. And if you see Elon Musk fighting with the president, you don't want to be in this name. Tesla is one of those stocks that you want to be in the know on the news of it. It's very, very important. It makes crazy swings. All joking aside, there was a massive, I think it was 15% drop when he had that feud with the commander-in-chief. We're looking at a 50-day moving average, in my opinion, as the strong line of support on a ticker like this. If it breaks that support, you can almost certainly see downside if it closes for the week. The 50-day currently is sitting at around $402.94. The 20-day moving average is just under $40. That's what I like to look at for more swing trades, because sometimes it moves in this pattern where it hits its top and then it breaks down to the bottom and then it goes back up and then it goes back down, and it can move $10 or $15, in a day or in a week. I look at the 20 for entries when it's up high like this. So for example, right now we're at $460 to $463 range. And I was saying in Discord I would get in if it went below as low as 432, which was the last support about a month ago. And it did. And it went to 415 and I got in, market open immediately because it was in the overnight. And I ran it all the way up to 448. If it pulled back again down below that 439 level, I for certainly, with no bad news, of course, would be getting back in for a swing. Now, the 100-day moving average, funny enough, is 361. So that shows you how much the stock's moved. $100 in 100 days. That is a massive move. You get in at the right time, you make it. But let's say it retraces back half that way and you get in at 463. You're going to lose your shirt whether you bought stocks or options on this. I recommend you join us live on our live streams with Josh and Mike and Miss Mary in the Stocks with Josh Discord. Often we'll play Tesla for the upside or for the downside for puts. When you're buying calls, you're betting on it going up. When you're buying puts, you're betting on it going down. So, sometimes the stock moves so quickly that it hits a support, it hits a resistance level, and it hits it a few times, and it's coming down. And you can make a quick amount of money scalping Tesla on those levels, as well as knowing the support levels of the stock and knowing when to get in when it hits that support. So that's one very good way of trading, and I recommend you join us live to stick with it. The other one I mentioned with leaps is also a very, very great way to get in. When you see it hitting, very strong lines of support, I like to buy leap contracts, giving it plenty of time to cook, and I'm enjoying over 100% gains on my leaps right now. Now, we mentioned that the moving average, that's really strong support on the 50-day, is just above $400. I find 400 to be a very big psychological level. So if you do see Tesla retracing and it closes for the week below 400, the next support line is going to be somewhere around 360, the 100-day moving average. It can move as low as that. I don't see that happening personally. I don't know why it would with all the news and the exciting developments that Tesla has, which let's get into a few of those. Now, the first obvious thing with Tesla is it's a car company. It makes great electric vehicle cars, with the cheapest model being the Model 3, as low as $37,000 starting price, which is pretty amazing for the technology that you have. They have the Model Y, the Model S, which is their flagship sedan. They have the the Cybertruck, which I wanted to get one of those, but I decided it was just too big and too much money to waste on a vehicle. I'm going to wait for them to come out with the Optimus robot, which is unbelievable. But they also have in production the Cybercab, the Robovan, and the Tesla Semi, and the Roadster. All amazing vehicles. They're covering every industry, every type of car. When you think of charging an electric car or buying an electric car, the first name that comes to your mind is Tesla. And you don't see ads like you do on some of the other car companies. They are simply unbelievable at what they do, and they're growing every single day. Now, the next industry they're in is energy generation and storage, which includes batteries like the Megapack or the Powerwall. They generated well over $10 billion in revenue, with almost a 70% increase from the previous year in their order, which is unbelievable, which I believe is part of what stirred this recent boom in the price. Their revenue for 2024 is over $10 billion. Unbelievable profitability. The energy division is just increasing every single day. They have key products in this segment, like we said, the residential Powerwall, the utility scale Megapack, and they have tons of solar products, as you may have seen advertised over the last few years. Now, this comes into play with their vehicles as well. Their batteries get better, their vehicles last longer. I don't know if you guys remember years ago when we had the iPhones and they were only lasting for a few hours. That was a problem. and then all of a sudden the batteries got bigger and now your iPhones can last 24 hours. That's a big deal when you're surfing and using AI and you want to spend your whole life on this device doing everything that it does. Same thing goes for cars. Same thing goes for factories. The battery business is booming and Tesla is at the front of it. The other segment of their business is software and AI segment with full self-driving, which has already hit the streets in some places, depending on where you are and what the laws are. You have the autopilot mode, premium connectivity, and the ride-hailing robo-taxi service. Unbelievable. You call, a car comes, no driver, takes you where you need to go. And that car, by the way, gets to the dealership by driving itself off the factory. Absolutely ridiculous. Roof racks, mats, everything. Everybody loves Tesla. They have a Dojo supercomputer deal with Samsung, on chips, coming out with AI computing. They have lithium refineries in Texas, LFP battery lines in Nevada, and my favorite, the Optimus robot. Imagine a robot. You could teach him to do laundry. You could have him do small tasks, big tasks. He can catch a ball. He can walk. He can do everything. And these robots can learn from each other. If you get a second robot, all the information that the first robot learned will automatically go into the second robot. I wish I could teach my kids that way. Teach one kid, and then the other 3 kids all of a sudden know everything. It's an unbelievable technological advancement. I'm going to be the first one to grab an Optimus robot when they hit the market. So we're covering automotive, energy generation and storage, electric vehicles and mobility, renewable energy, AI and robotics, infrastructure, energy services. They're in every industry. So when you think of Tesla as just a car company, you have no idea. This is why it's trading at a ridiculous forward PE. On November 5th, with an 11:59 p.m. deadline, the annual meeting is November 6th, upon which they will award him the package or not. So, for example, at $2 trillion value, he'll be awarded 35 million shares. But he doesn't get to just take them and cash them out. He has to hold them a long time frame, and they become, he can use his voting rights on those shares, but I believe he has to hold them for 5 years, and he can't sell them before 5 years, and then he becomes vested after 7.5 or 10 years, depending on which year it's in. He only earns it if he hits the level. If he misses it by $15, he gets nothing. At $8.5 trillion, he gets $1 trillion in stock. That's double his net worth currently. Unbelievable. I love this. As an ex-salesperson that loved to build my life on my own accolades, not just get a salary, but a self-employed individual I've been most of my life. You earn, you learn, or you burn. You got to get in there and do the job. And if you don't do the job, you don't get paid. I love this. What's Elon Musk's reason for even doing this other than that? Well, I believe he said, if I need 25% voting power to control Tesla and build robots and AI, if I don't get it, I might as well leave and go somewhere else. So not only that, he's telling everybody, look, support me, I'm in. You don't support me, I can do this somewhere else. He is a titan and not someone I would be messing with. I want to be on his side. But Tesla goes up and it goes down. And we are not all billionaires. And we don't have the staying power to just take an absorbed loss of $1 billion. Or if we have a portfolio of $500,000 to just lose 200,000 of that and go upon our merry way. We do not have that kind of money. We have to think smart. We have to be disciplined. And if we can ride this wave all the way up, it would be amazing. Now, a real life example of this plan was when he was awarded $54 billion for hitting the targets of Tesla, which he did. He is phenomenal at hitting targets. I have no doubt with all these different technologies and his connections and his holding on the world right now that he's going to hit his targets. And we're going to see robots in the street and electric cars driving themselves right off the factory to your home. Now, as far as trading Tesla or investing in Tesla, you could buy it on retracements. Like I mentioned, at certain moving average, we're getting it at a lower price than what the average time frame is for that period. I would buy the actual stock right now if it went down to under $400. But you can also dollar cost average. You can buy a little bit of Tesla every day if you believe in the company and you want to hold it long term. I think it's going to 1,000. I don't know when. If I had to guess, within 2 years. I think it's a very strong company, but it has a lot of ways to go as far as generating revenue and growth. And it's in a lot of industries which have a lot of regulations and different things going on. For all of you that got in Tesla early, congratulations. If you got it under $300, it's like gold. It might have its time periods where it dips a little bit or it holds, but I don't see it going back to those levels. But if you want to get in now at $463, I don't know if it's the best time to be loading up on $100,000 worth of Tesla at that price. Again, the stock could really go very high and you could dollar cost average, but there are better names with less risk to get in at these prices. Now, let's get into the different ways you can trade it on the options chain. So, buying calls. When do you buy calls on Tesla? As I mentioned before, when you look at certain support lines and levels, when it hits it, that's a great time to buy it, as long as it holds above that level and there's no really bad negative news. I like to look at the news for Tesla continuously because, it moves the stock a lot. Like what happened earlier this year where it dropped 15% on just one argument. You got to be very careful and set stop losses. But as I mentioned as well last Thursday, when the stock went and in the pre-market, it was around $415. I had my finger ready on the trigger button to buy a bunch of calls expiring that week and the week after, which is only the next day. It was on a Thursday, so I bought the 24th and the October 31st calls. When it hit my targets, however, I got out because it can retrace. You can move and lose all those gains. And we're in this business to make money. That's the reason why I'm doing education. And that's the reason why I enforce disciplines like controlling your position size and having a trade plan. Now, I'm going to have a course explaining what a call is, what a put is, what buying it is, what selling it is. So stay tuned for that as well. Second way you can trade Tesla is you can sell a call. What is selling a call? Selling a call is when you pretty much rent your stock out at the option to somebody else to buy it at a future price. So let's say I own Tesla right now at 463 and I think it's going to drop. I think it's not going to go up so much. So what I would do in that position, and I'm not saying that that's the position right now, I do it at major, resistance levels. I think if the stock were to hit, the 488 high and it didn't break it, that would be a great time to sell a call. Or maybe even at 475, 478, something like that. When it's hitting its top and it looks like it's about to retrace down, you sell it to somebody else. You say, look, if you want to buy this from me at $500 in a month from now, no problem. I'll sell it to you at $500 in a month from now. What are you risking? You're risking having to sell the stock at that price. If Tesla goes up to 550, you got to sell it at 500. But you get paid a premium to do that. So just like buying a call where you're paying somebody the premium money to give you the stock at that price, but if the stock is really high and I think I want to hold it, but I want to make some money off of it, I'll sell a call to somebody else and I'll enjoy the benefit of the premium. I know many people that make a business on selling calls on stocks. So if you're going to accumulate stock and you want to sell calls at high resistance levels and buy them at support levels, it's a great way to make money in the market. So far this video, we've covered all the different things that Tesla is doing, when the vote's coming up, all the technologies it has, what its PE earnings and ratios are, what's on the horizon, what it is to buy a call, what it is to sell a covered call. As I always say, trade responsibly, have a trade plan, don't oversize your positions, but I'd love for you all to reap the benefits of Tesla and many other ticker symbols. I hope this video was informative and I hope you have a safe end of 2025 trading and enjoying the benefits of investing in the market. Thank you for joining. Tamir is here and I am here to bring you quality content and mindset to learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them. Stay tuned for the next video, everybody. Have a good day.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission.